Welcome to Startup Hack. All right, let's get real for a second. So this week there's been a ton of noise about DeepSeek and about what they've done to come in and disrupt the AI market, right? But it's also talked a lot of noise where people are starting to hear more and more and more again. Every time there's a heat up in the AI market, people are like, oh, it's going to replace software developers by next month. But look, after 25 years in the trenches, I'm here to tell you AI is nowhere near ready to take on our software development jobs. In fact, the more you know about AI, the less you trust it to handle complex development tasks. And I'm going to show you a lot of studies around that. So let's break it down, see why the hype doesn't match the reality, and we're going to dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thompson. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so let's dive into this right now. So the very first thing that I'm going to talk about is the so-called AI software development replacement, right? So I'm going to show you a study here, and we're going to kind of break some of this down here. So there's a tool that's touted as the first AI software engineer, and it's as bad as it sounds, right? So the tester just actually ran through and tested all the stuff that generated, and it got 15% of the assigned tasks. So I don't know about you, but if you want a software developer that's only as good as 15%, this isn't just a minor hiccup. It's like a glaring flaw in AI's ability to handle real-world development tasks. And this was still in a very, very niche space, right? So as developers, we know that even a 99% success rate is not enough when you're building mission-critical systems. So to even say that we're even talking about this being a replacement for software developers with a small task and scoring 15% is not going to fly anytime soon. There's another study here talking about this that is saying that the more, and this is true, the more that you know about AI, the less you trust it. So researchers are showing that the more people understand AI, the less they're going to trust it. And it's not surprising, because when you see how AI works under the hood, you see that its limitations, and it become extremely glaring. One of the biggest limitations and problems with AI is when it gives you when it hits a null value, it just ends up making up stuff, right? It doesn't care if it's right. It only cares if it gives you a result. So trusting AI to replace developers is like trusting a calculator to replace a mathematician. In the 60s, when calculators started coming out, everybody said, hey, mathematicians are gone. But guess what? If you want to get a great paying job, mathematicians are some of the top, right? They almost always get hired. So the hype is really loud, but it's really, really not impressive, right? So as you look down into this, you can actually see that a survey of U.S. undergraduate students find that those with less understanding of AI are more likely to indicate its use for using academic assignments. AI doesn't actually pose human qualities. A chatbot might generate empathetic response, but it doesn't feel empathy, right? And the same way is that AI can pretend like it looks like it's being innovative, but all it's doing is regurgitating. Linus Torvalds said that AI is autocorrect on steroids, and he's right? So OpenAI's benchmark, and they've actually been caught recently that their benchmark is actually cheating, right? So they actually admitted we made a mistake in not being more transparent. OpenAI was secretly accessed benchmark data, and it raised questions about the AI model's supposedly high scores, right? Sam Altman touted as very good, but basically OpenAI's O3 AI model was reportedly trained using a sophisticated benchmark for problems and solutions. Basically, they went and got the answers to the test, trained the model to it, and then ran it through so they could get high scores, just so they could say it was better. But in reality, it was just trained on the answers. So of course, if you give it the answers to the test, like, this doesn't help anything. So again, this is just cheating the performance to overinflate what they're doing. Now, I get that this week we've seen a ton of disruption in DeepSeek's reasoning model. Is this model very impressive? Yes. Does it do a lot better than all the current AIs? Absolutely. By less than 1%. Okay, so let's be real here. The big cry to DeepSeek, and the big reason it made so much noise this week, is because they said it was trained for less than it was. But newsflash, OpenAI is actually caught it red-handed at stealing their training models here, right? So The Chinese artificial intelligence company DeepSeek disruption Silicon Valley with release of a cheap development model, right? But OpenAI and Microsoft are investigating whether the Chinese rival used OpenAI's integration, right? The outlet source said Microsoft security researchers detected that large amounts of data were being exfiltrated through OpenAI's developer accounts in late 2024, which the company believes are affiliated with DeepSeek. OpenAI told Financial Times that it found evidence linking DeepSeek to use of distillation, a common technique developers train. Basically, they cheated off their test, pulled all their training data, and then did some innovation on top of it. So was it better? Yes. Is it impressive? Yes. Is it far cry from replacing humans? Absolutely. We're still a long ways from this, folks. Like, how long have we been hearing people say that robots were going to flip hamburgers and minimum wage jobs were going to go away? I'll believe that as soon as I start actually seeing that, and I've been hearing that for over a decade, then I'll start to even believe that we might be within a quarter of a century from maybe AI starting to replace some jobs. The reality is that DeepSeek R1 is open source, and it is a great tool, but it's a great tool for us to use. Now, the thing about it is that DeepSeek is saying that it was trained for less than $6 million, while others are spending over $100 million. And so Sam Altman has been, had some videos come out where he's like trashed on companies, say there's no way you can do it be a $10 million company. AI is expensive and the ROI is definitely not clear. And we're seeing the market starting to ask this, right? So even as we see Microsoft started to report some of their, this week they reported some of their AI numbers, but it was still a far cry percentage from what they've actually spent on it. So one of the interesting things here, and I want to show you part of this report here. Let me open up this article here. I don't think I quite got this one ready yet. So one of the interesting things here is that this is from Stack Overflow. So, right, the accuracy of AI tools. Less than 2.7% of developers highly trust AI. Now, there's the somewhat trust because this is the developers who will run stuff against it, but they know how to check it, right? So the somewhat trust means, hey, if I need to go through it 20 times to get the right answer, and it won't be the right answer to maybe help me with something or build some small boilerplate code, that's what's happening. But then a lot neither distrust. Look at the numbers that distrust or highly distrust. This is a huge percentage, right? So we're definitely seeing that people don't trust AI, right? There's a huge part that's saying that the more you know, the less you actually trust AI. And this is a big piece to understand because if a software developer who understands how it works doesn't trust it, what should this teach you? AI can't replicate the years of experience and domain knowledge that developers bring to the table. This morning I had an issue in prod. What did I do? I reached out to my 2 senior developers. We dove into it. We started to look at things. I guarantee if I'd asked ChatGPT or DeepSeek, what to go look for, it wouldn't have had the foggiest clue where to go with this, even if it had all of my code, which it wouldn't. It doesn't understand the nuances that one server in the middle of 20 different servers had its logs full. And there's no way that it could have figured that out, right? Whereas a human was able to spot that within 10 minutes. So you can train an AI on gigabytes of data, but it won't understand the nuances of your industry. As developers, we solve problems that require deep understanding and context, something that AI cannot do. AI might generate some boilerplate code. It can't design a system that will meet real world needs. And let's not also confuse data with wisdom, right? Knowledge and wisdom are very different. Will AI have tons of knowledge? Can it do some data processing and things at a heavy pace? Absolutely. Will it have the wisdom that comes with 25 years of software development? Not even close. AI is a tool, but it's not replacing humans anytime soon. Now, many of the problems with AI is that it's a black box, right? We see the inputs, we see the outputs, but we don't see the reasoning behind it, and it lacks a transparency, which is a major issue. You don't know why it's telling you those answers. As a developer, we need to understand how systems work so we can work to debug them and improve them. And a lot of debugging is not just stepping through lines of code, it's understanding systems and how they work. It's looking at logs, looking at what the related log means to that system. AI's opacity to this is hard to trust, and it makes it so that we don't really know where it's coming from. So it's a helper, it's not a replacement. Now, and our AI can generate outputs. It can do a lot of great data stuff. I use it for even tweaking a lot of my things. I use it for a lot of different purposes, right? But it's not going to outsource human judgment. there's a creativity gap, right? It can remix patterns, it can regurgitate stuff, but the problem is when AI doesn't know something, it just makes it up. And that's where we get into these hallucinations, right? These hallucinations. So today I kept putting the same thing in and I kept asking AI, hey, change this. What it kept doing, spit back the same thing at me. And I actually couldn't get it out of that loop. I gave it actually a whole new set of inputs. It still gave me back the same outputs. This is an example of why you can't use AI, right? To trust AI explicitly. Those who know how it works don't trust it, right? So it's imperative that it means that AI, the rise of AI means that developers need to keep learning and adapting. AI is a good tool. There's a lot of many use it for. Notebook LMs. I love the rise of agents where we can say, hey, go do this thing, and it can be trained on it and can get really good at that. I think those are going to be useful uses of AI. I don't think we'll ever see AGI. I think it brings up a lot of security concerns. I think there's a lot of problems that we're going to see as the billions and billions of dollars and trillions of dollars overall that are getting pumped into it. So DeepSeek R1 is showing a lot of these problems, right? Because it's produced by a Chinese company. So we're pumping a ton of our data overseas. And so that's not a great idea. And then plus, a lot of DeepSeek has been infiltrated this week, and there's been a lot of public exposures, and a lot of data has been leaked out of DeepSeek this week. So the future is human plus AIs, and I'm going to keep touting this. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as build custom software solutions for companies. But I really think what we're going to continue to see where AI plus humans can work together. Linus Torvalds says AI is autocorrect on steroids. One of the really great examples I love to give of this, and again, I'm a huge Tesla fanboy. I love my Model 3, bought it with FSD, use FSD a ton, have driven thousands of miles on FSD. FSD still doesn't replace a human. It's still not a better driver than a human. I love it, and I'm going to use it because I'm lazy and I don't like to drive. So I'm going to use it in certain places, but do I trust it explicitly? Absolutely not. And that's exactly where we're going to be. Now, Elon Musk promised that FSD would be driving us around as early as 2018. His first promise is that by the end of 2018, we're going to have FSD. Guess what? We're almost a decade later and we still don't have FSD. Now there's some interesting stuff coming with that, and I think it's super cool. But again, it's gotten really good in certain use cases. So I don't think we need to fear AI, but we also don't, it's not going to become our master. We need to become its master. Again, remember in the 1960s, they said calculators was going to replace mathematicians. The mathematicians are still here. In fact, they're getting paid a ton. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I really love to have a great discussion. So the best thing you can do for me is leave a comment down below, even if it's just to say hi or to tell me that you think I'm full of crud. Like, let me know, because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and to build custom software solutions to companies. So reach out because we'd love to help. And otherwise, we got a great offer here for you.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn. Complete our 3-month coding boot camp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience, on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future and start today.